the water, the wild. This is where we hunt. This is where we fish. This is how we live. Welcome to the WeFish2 Podcast, where we hunt, fish, and live outside. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of WeHunt2, WeFish2. I appreciate everyone tuning in for episode 3. Today, we have my co-host, Lou, in the building, and we're going to be talking about beginners, or hunting for beginners, the future of hunting, people interested in deer hunting, and anyone who has ever wanted to but just didn't know how to get started. Well, this is the episode for you. We're talking about how to get started. So we're going to cover several things, Lou. Any of these things we can get started with, like the mindset, if you want to get gear, hunting in itself, deer behavior. I know we covered some of these things in depth on the last episode, but I think it's important that we continue those ideas into this episode, particularly for those beginner hunters, because that's where we left off at. Public land hunting, we talked extensively about that as well. But I know the biggest takeaways from this episode should be those mistakes you and we've made, but we want to help those new folks to avoid making going in. So,
absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, beginning hunting, the way I started was I was blessed to have a father that was able to teach me about hunting. Hunter safety is is priority. That's the first thing before you pick up any weapon. Understanding safety. If you're hunting by yourself, with an individual, where to point your weapon, when to unload, to load your weapon, making sure that you are not endangering anybody or animal or yourself in woods, your car, wherever you may be.
Right.
It's not just safety issues that we're concerned about. We're concerned about, obeying the law.
Correct.
Riding with a loaded weapon or is not completely took one bullet out of the chamber, but yet you still have some in your gun. That's not unloaded.
Right.
So
That's
certain
illegal.
things that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I suggest is going to Outdoor Alabama.
Okay.
OA. OutdoorAlabama.com is a great source for someone who doesn't have anyone to talk to can get educated, crash courses. Someone that's of age 1970, I think 70, above 6 and younger have to take a hunter's education course.
Correct.
If you are older, I suggest that if you've never been hunting, an education course, because it really will help you, enlighten you on what to expect.
Absolutely. I mean, they provide a whole list of safety type techniques, like taking in a whistle, making sure you have a field knife, make sure you have some type of rope, some type of communicative device that you can call for help. I mean, everything that you would need to learn initially, you can find it in one of those safety courses. You are absolutely right about that.
For the youth, if they get a chance to go out with an adult or just go out and stand something behind the house, if they don't have a place to go, then someone like you will be more than welcome to teach them, educate them. I love helping you. I love helping people that want. It used to be, I was one of those selfish hunters. I wanted to hunt by myself. I didn't have kids at the time, and because I didn't want nobody knowing my story, right? But as I got older, it's much harder to hunt with someone else. Seeing someone else.
I mean, as a kid, for me, I had older brothers, and my older brothers had his buddies. And I remember vividly, I mean, when I say vividly, I can tell this story 100 times and it'll be the same every time. I remember my brother's buddies coming over. It was cold December morning. And I know that because it was around Christmas time. And he and his buddies came to the house. with their guns, and they got loaded up to go hunting. Now the thing about where I live in Utah, on 430 Brown Avenue, right across the street was several hundreds of acres of woods. And the thing about it, no, we didn't own those woods. We probably didn't even know who did, but we were so accustomed to going over there and being in the woods. Nobody bothered us. And it might have been at the time back in the 80s, man. Things were a little bit different, but they would go over there, go in there, and before the end of the day, they would be dragging out a big old deer, and we would get in the backyard, hang it up, and use a old rod, go hang it up, and they would skip right there in the backyard. So for me, that was my introduction, or that was my baptism into what the whole hunting deal was. At the time, for my mom, you say I had to be a little older before I can go and do that. And over time, I would go back and forth in there with my brother. I remember what we call ladder stands now. My brother and I would build those out of 1x4s and 2x4s in the yoke of a tree. That's what that's the old school tree stand back in the day. So that's kind of what my introduction and my experience coming into it was. And for many people, like you said, behind the house may be their introduction. But if whatever the case may be, use that as that platform, or that way to propel you into a hunting. And you also can use those experiences to tell a new person, say, well, look, this is how I did it. But today it may be different. There are so many avenues and so many resources they can use to help them to make that transition from a non-hunter to a new hunter easier.
Easy. Hey, Doc, we got an incoming call coming in.
Okay.
We got a hunter named Johnny Williams calling in.
Okay, Johnny on the spot.
Man, we doing well.
Fantastic.
I'm very well this evening. Hey, I got a question.
All right.
Okay, like the property that you hunt, the property, what do you think, some ways which you can, better your property, for deer, turkey, and everything?
Okay, so on hunting property that I have in, thank you, Johnny. Thank you for that phone call. Thank you for that.
Yes.
So Johnny's question was, what can we do to better our hunting for deer and turkey?
That's improving it.
Improving it.
Okay.
To increase deer and turkey population.
Ooh, that's a good one.
One thing that I've done.
That's a good one.
And you can go ahead. You want to talk on that, Stacey?
Sure. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a buddy of mine recently about a very similar conversation. And in that conversation, he was appreciative of what I tried to do in trying to show people the beginning to end, or the beginning of a harvest to the start. That means starting the summer with the planting, with the cultivating of the land, and planting seeds and clearing out lanes and things of that nature. For me, I think is preparing the land and trying to produce more by really addressing what they need is, one, nutrition. What attracts them the best in terms of seeds? Is that rye, or is that some type of grass, some type of clover that they really, really love, particularly in any part of the state? I try to create a habitat that's comfortable, that allows them to continue to come, and to allow them an opportunity to not only feed but have some good bedding, where I don't trim away a lot of brush. I use that to let them feel comfortable. I put myself in a situation where it creates those edges to where they feel comfortable coming into a field, or if I'm shooting out a tree stand, I use very specific lines to particular areas I'm hunting. If I know there's a trail, I'm not gonna cut all the limbs away, because I need some for cover. I need some to allow for clean and ethical shots. So it's cultivating the land by increasing providing the game what they like and provide more of it. I mean,
And
I think that's the key.
And tell you something that I'm done. Well, Mother Nature did, and this is one of the ways that I learned. Well, some people do hinge cutting. This was tornado cutting.
Hinge cutting.
Hinge cutting. Or a tornado came through on my property and laid down some trees, and it broke some trees off. And it was hinge cut. Some was hinge cut. Some of the trees were down. I found more deer bedding around falling down trees than by the creek side, right? Or when the tornado came through and knocked all those trees down, and then we had a fire down there.
Right.
And when the fire went through those pine trees, it burned all the underbrush. The oak flat, it burned all the underbrush. I saw more turkeys there. Well, turkeys like to see where they're going. So all the foliage on the ground was burned, all the little ragweed and briars were burned, and so it didn't get thick. And it had started, that nitrogen got pumped in the ground and really started pumping up these little sprouts. And the turkeys, this wasn't doing turkeys. Right before hunting season, all this was taking place.
Okay.
And so October hit, going through the woods, I'm seeing here areas that I never came before. They were by the trees that are falling down.
Okay.
So to increase, my thought is to increase the habitat for deer and turkey. Like you said, provide cover, water, food. They like to know that they got an escape route.
Yep.
They like to feel safe.
Yes.
They like to be able to come into an area and notice that I'm not being seen. Well, they don't think they're being seen, but we can see them from up above. But if you're going straight in, you won't be able to see them. Right? So that's the advantage they want. But you can increase your area that way. Also, I pay attention to the wind direction when you're doing this. So increase your activity when it comes to deer. You may have to choose a different way of going in when you do this hinge cutting. So you can't just keep going the same direction. You got to find a different way when you do the hinge cutting and pay attention to the wind and go in a different way.
You raised an interesting point right here when you're talking about the way you come in. And for me to really, I think, to answer Johnny's question, the amount of activity you pose on that particular property makes a difference. If you in and out of there all the time, then the deer's gonna know that, and then they're gonna stay away if you're in and out all the time. So what I found that increased my chances after I've cultivated the land, planted seeds and this and that, I got out of there. I let all activity die down. I let things grow. I let things naturally return into balance to where they feel comfortable and let the activity go. Another point is if you have multiple places that you can go to where you don't hunt the same place all the time, I think that increases your chances of being successful. I think we can tell Johnny, hey, if you do these things, I think he increases chances.
Even this last thing, I leave on this one. Even if you treat your hunting ground before hunting season just like you're hunting, meaning you spray down, you wear gloves going in, you spray your shoes down, but prior to hunting season, because if you're going in that many times, you're going to educate the deer before hunting season begins.
Before they start.
They understand hinge cutting, we understand that. You're doing all that. That's good. I'm talking about going in, checking your crops, checking your stand, checking your cameras. You need to make sure you have gloves on, have put your feet down, stay like the environment, because you want to feel comfortable passing by that area. Right. Now, if you're doing that 60, 90 days before hunting season come in, and you just have cameras in there, cellular cameras in there that's looking in your area, your scent should be gone.
Should be gone. Correct.
When hunting season hits, then of course, spray down, gloves, your boots down, wear all the necessary gear to make sure that you are invisible. Smell is almost gone. All right.
Awesome.
So that's just my thought. Appreciate that phone call.
Yeah, appreciate that phone call. Appreciate you, Johnny. And I hope more of you have questions. And feel free, give us a call. We'll be open to try answering those questions and
Absolutely.
give you our take on that. But let's circle back and making sure we
Yeah.
understand how to start successfully or how to get new. If you're new to hunting, how can you do this successfully? Wait a second. I think I got another call coming in.
Okay.
Let's see here. We got Mullen. We got Brother Mullen. How you doing?
Doc, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing
What's going on, Brother
fantastic.
Mullen?
Good. Listen, man, I appreciate everything you're doing. Love the show, love the podcast you got going on. But I got a question for you.
Fire
Yes,
away.
sir.
So I was wondering, you got any kind of advice for those who want to start hunting, but like some people might just be a little intimidated by just how to start. What would be your advice for them?
Oh, that's a great question. Appreciate that question. Let's see. For me, I would say I think we touched on this a little earlier by talking about educating yourself, by getting familiar with your tools. When we talk about tools, we're talking about rifle or bow, getting those safety courses out the way, how to handle a firearm, how to handle a bow. We talked about this a little bit on the last episode in terms of understanding your surrounding, understanding the terrain. Get out in the woods and just walk around. Just see where the wind direction is. See if you can identify animal waste, their droppings. See if you can identify any rubs or any scrapes or anything like that to kind of give you an indication that there is deer activity. Then once you have identified those things, then you can kind of start the preparation process. That is being proficient with any firearm or any bow that you're going to use, preparing your area. If you're on private land, are you going to prepare the land in terms of planting seed or cultivating the land, or are you going to do some hinge cutting? We talked about that before. Are you going to cut some lanes if you're a bow hunter? Or if you're going to use some type of attractant, how you place it, where do you place it, when do you placement? Because at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and at the end of their season makes a difference on how you use your deer attractant. So once
Hey,
you
Doc.
yes, sir.
And I was going to say this in a minute.
Go ahead. No, that's fine.
I know he said hunting. You and I, we love hunting.
Yeah, right.
But a new hunter may be intimidated by deer hunting
Exactly.
because if they don't do something just right, Doc, they may not see a deer.
And they will get discouraged.
They get discouraged.
Right.
So for a new hunter, you have rabbit hunting, you have squirrel hunting, you have dove, you have quail,
Pheasant.
Mm-hmm. We have geese, excuse me. Well, goose is second. But these are the type of hunters that we can do. You can not just deer hunting. I love deer hunting. That is one of my talents. That's my it. I grew up on rabbit hunting.
Right.
That was fast paced. Had a single barrel shotgun, 20 gauge. I had to carry bullets. 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, reload, shoot, reload. But for the new hunter, it's more than deer hunting. But if you was getting squirrel hunting, you was getting rabbit hunting, you getting bull hunting. One thing that would do, that'll teach you speed, eye, gun, hand coordination. When you start getting it, you understand where they live, what to look for, just like Doc said, droppings. Because there's a difference between rabbit droppings versus deer droppings.
Yes.
Sometimes they can look similar in the woods.
Very similar.
But they're completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So coming in the woods, understanding with no weapon, just going in the woods, understanding what you're seeing. Going into your backyard, understanding what you're seeing. Just because you see birds go by your yard, listen to the birds. You may go in the backyard and hear blue jays.
Mm-hmm.
Blue jays give an indication where acorns are.
Correct.
You hear a lot of blue jays. Start listening. Pay attention. Walk towards the area that they're in. You may find a whole bunch of different acorns in that area. So there's a lot of things that you can do other than deer hunting. But one thing that we do love deer hunting. That's all we want to talk about. That's
right. Absolutely. And for the new hunters to Brother Mullen, if we can end it this way, just start small. Don't make it complicated. Learn the basics. Get familiar with firearms. Get familiar with the bow. Get familiar with how to maneuver in and around the woods. Take some safety courses, because I think that harness education is beneficial, particularly if you're very new to the hunting community or this hunting space. But no,
They gotta take
you
that.
all, yeah. Always know too. There's always someone there is willing to lend a hand, or lend some advice, or lend the opportunity to take you on a hunt. All you have to do is ask. You have to be the one to be motivated enough to just simply just ask. So I hope that answers the question. I hope we did a good job with that, Brother Mullen, and we really appreciate your question.
Hey,
Appreciate all the phone calls.
man. Yeah, appreciate y'all, brothers, and appreciate everything y'all do, man. I'm looking for a great hunting season this winter.
All right. Same to you, man. Appreciate you.
Y'all take care.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, awesome. Great questions. And I really appreciate those coming in. All right, let's see if we can segue into a second topic, and that is really why people want to hunt. We really need to kind of focus in and understand their why. Some people get into hunting for different reasons. Some people get into hunting at different stages. We talked about our early stages. Some people get into hunting at midlife. Some people get into hunting in retirement. So those entries into hunting varies. But the question still remains is as to why.
Why? I'll go first.
Okay.
Me, born into it.
Mm-hmm.
First time seeing animals. My old swing set was out there in the backyard. Heard my daddy old truck crank up and everything. Then he come back with his buddy. They drinking Miller High Life and chopping up in the backyard. And my old swing set, they made it into, had several hooks where they could eat rabbits up in the backyard. I'm wanting to go out there. And of course, my dad and his buddy time.
Mm-hmm.
That was their time that they were W-2 employees on weekends. That's only when they get a chance to run their dogs and enjoy outdoors. They did not think about work. They thought about the fun. And then they fellowshipped out there together. And then they realized that their dogs brought in several rabbits. They trained them well. And they brought in, and they was able to harvest a rabbit. Two guys brought in over 40-something rabbits.
Oof, that's a haul right there. That's a haul.
He had a big bag, and they were just hanging them up, ripping them down, cleaning them, just having a good time. For me to see that, I wanted that, but I didn't know what they were doing. I know I wanted to be a part of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I didn't know why I wanted to, I just
know that you did, yeah.
Right? They having a good time.
Right.
Well, now as I got older, I'm like, that was their outlet.
Yes.
That's their
bingo.
They're home away from home.
Yes.
And when they come back, listen, when they through with that, they come back, they in the best mood. They are able to release. If they did harvest, the one time they did, maybe about 2 or 3 rabbits sometimes, but if they did, they were still in a great mood because they were able to get away from their daily chores and things that they have to do in life.
Right.
Not saying they didn't love family. They loved their family. I knew my daddy, his love was action. But to get away, to do the things he did, it was dopamine. That dopamine in you, to release that out there, to stand outdoors, to just have a good time and fellowship with a friend, a true friend.
Right.
And then they go back and forth. Who dog is better than who? Who dog you circle the rabbit back around?
Right.
Who got the shot off?
Yep.
Who shot one time? Who shot
twice?
Out
Yep.
and missed the rabbit? It was the camaraderie. Back and forth with each other. So now for me, to speed up, and I'm definitely let you have it, but to speed up for me, that was my dad. I've hunted with people. I used to have a hunting buddy that we used to hunt, and we kind of parted ways because we do different ways, we hunt different ways and tactics now. But for me, I enjoy just the outdoors, understanding nature, listening to nature. Rabbit hunting was it until I saw a deer. And when I saw a deer, it changed me, Stacey.
It always
It's like,
does.
why we not hunting this?
Yeah.
My daddy did not. My daddy forbid it. You to raise your gun or his dogs be around deer.
Right.
His dogs run away from deer. The way he trained them and all the things that he did, I don't tell you all the things he did, they would not run a deer because they know the consequences.
Right.
So to be outdoors as the why for him was to get away from home. His second home. For me was to get away from home, second home. Love my family. But it's that dopamine that we chase just the fellowshipping with the outdoors.
I mean, I couldn't have said it best. I mean, I don't need no extra commentary. I'm going to just sum it up for the people in this. You know, there are a lot of interest in hunting, and people have many reasons to get into hunting. But for some people are just curious. Some people are just, they grew up in it. You have others that just want to spend more time out in the outdoors. Because quick example, and I'm going to sum it up. In a property I hunt, there's an older couple, right? When I say old, I'm talking about retirement. All they do is go into the blinds that I put up or the shooting house, and they just deer watch. Honestly, God, they don't take a gun. They don't take anything. They take binoculars and a book. And they use that time just to spend time with each other and to watch the deer. I mean, we go back and forth. I say, you know, Mr. So-and-so, if you could just go at this particular time or don't go at this particular time. But the fact that that's their reason. So, and for others like myself, and you said it, they're looking for the escape. They're looking for that reason to get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. So with that, remember this, hunting gives you an opportunity to do more than just hunt. It answers that old age question of when nature calls, when you get out there, are you able to connect and harvest that deer of a lifetime? We're going to move along. We're going to get into the next segment. Did you ever remember getting something, Lou, that you thought would work because you watched all the social media clips, you watched all the YouTube channels, you watched all of this, you said this, and they popped up, this is the next greatest and best thing that you need, right? To only find out when you use it is not worth money you pay for it. So this segment, we're going to look at it. Don't get intimidated or don't get oversold by the gear. I want to tell you like this. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. The difference between us adults and baby. A baby sees things as it is. Adult, we add so many variables that make it complicated.
Right.
Keep it like a child. Make it simple. But as we get older, we love this and trying to have an advantage for the game that we're chasing. We're thinking that we add just a little bit more smell or cover scent or some type of wear that will calm down the electrical particles that we put in the atmosphere. I'm not going to name the name of the material that you will wear, but maybe I could because I own it. However, if you put some on it, also record your vibrations of it. And so animals don't feel your vibrations. But say I got an uncle, he used to smoke a cigarette and go out in the woods. He come back with a deer.
Wow.
Might not be a real big deer, but I have seen him kill some big deer.
But it's a deer, yeah.
With the stick in his mouth. His cover said, right? We can overcomplicate things, Stacey, because of media, because of the new things that just come out, because of the new grunt that just come out, because of the new turkey calls that come out, because of the new smells that come out because they just got it fresh off of this doe that was in estrus.
It's estrus, right?
And I'm overcomplicating things. Point an example. I paid a lot of money on some doe urine. I do not use doe urine, but I have a friend, a hunting buddy, that told me, said, "Hey, Luke, this works."
Swear by it.
Okay. Let me try it.
Yeah.
The does were coming in. The does prevented the buck from coming in.
Wow.
Because the doe smelled the urine and said, "Hey,
this is another doe.
This is another doe." And she is not from this area. Woo!
Them alpha does, remember them alpha does you talk? They have they have a whole new behavior all they own.
She turned, they turned, he turned.
Yeah, their territory.
Out of there. I said, what did I do wrong? What have I done wrong? The wind was in my favor.
Right.
I had the doe urine before me. They intersect the doe urine. I'm here, doe urine here. They came in between. Smell me. They smelled that doe urine.
Right.
And they got out of there. I stopped using it. They came back. I harvested the buck. He stayed with these two does. And one doe had two yearlings. They weren't spotted, but they were adult. They still hang around their mom.
Right.
Back in. So it wasn't a human stench. It was a doe urine. I had no business using it. There's a time and place for that, but it was not for me. I had no business trying to use a doe and estrus from a different state in Alabama. And these animals know they home. Okay?
Right.
And I'm done.
It's amazing. You brought up some people don't realize a cigarette probably got more deer killed than anything else. Because I remember my brother, he was notorious for smoking those cigarettes, man. And that's why he smoked it, because he didn't smoke around my mom and stuff like that. So when he did smoke, he smoked in the wood. And I tell you, you seen more deer than anything you want to believe. So there's something about that cigarette, and I think that might be an overlooked scent, man. If we may need to get together, we may create our own scent, the cigarette scent. But there you go, the buck killer. But let's make sure that people understand. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, folks, about the gear. Just do your homework. Ask somebody that know, or if you're just unsure, just take some time to kind of see what people are saying. Just get in a conversation about it. Don't let expensive prices set you up for a less of a guarantee. Just because it costs more don't mean you're going to increase your chances more. I mean, that's just silly just to think of. Wear gear or have things that you need that are necessary. Don't overdo it. And what I think that a lot of new hunters, one of the things that they try to do is they try to look like an old or a veteran hunter, or they emulate or imitate what they see before they even try to use or get proficient at either firearms or the gear that they're using. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could, ask someone, do your homework, don't be afraid. Trust me, you're going to get met with open arms. Trust me when I tell you that. So,
for the most part, you're going to get met open arms. You have those hunters that just, they're different.
They different.
They different.
They think they know everything. You are not as good as they are. You ain't on their level. Look, those are the negative folks that you don't even need to be around. Don't even worry about them people. Don't even worry about it. With that, we talked last time about deer behavior. I don't want to overdo that because I think it is important, but I think we said enough earlier. And I think, Lou, you did this when you were talking about, when you answered Johnny's question. When you talked about the food and the water and the safety and the bedding, they need to feel those things. All that goes into deer behavior. And the way we construct or the way we manipulate the property answers those questions or create those opportunities for deer movement. So if you have one last point on that, be great, Lou, to close, because we got to get to a couple other things.
So I got a cousin, I know, living. His name, call him Jabu, but his name is Josh.
Mm-hmm.
We started hunting this going in the woods, and wind was like, so we'll say we're going south, wind coming out of the north, going behind, walking down a log road. Y'all can imagine it. We walk a log road. We walked probably about just talking softly, and I looked to my right, and when I looked to my right and started moving into the wood line, there's a creek to my right. It runs parallel to the log. And me, movement, because of how I've been trained, how I paid attention to detail walking to the woods, I see movement. Whether whatever color it is, and I'm still. But when I stopped, because they asked me the questions, what you see? What you see? I said, I saw movement. I said, it wasn't a bird. Movement. What is it? I said, I slowly moved my head. I said, oh, but I didn't know what it is. But something to the right of us. Split to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked, the sun was coming over. There was a shadow, creek, the tree, field. So if you think about it, I'm walking down a logging road, looking in the woods, got oak trees, a creek, then you got cedar trees, and then you got a field. When I looked to my right, I didn't see nothing. I was like, something was there. I don't know what it is. I look again, I'm looking, and then when it moved, it was here. It was the ear of an 8. I call it Mr. 8.
Mr. 8.
Never killed this deer.
Uh-huh.
This deer was sitting off a creek. The wind is in his face. He's behind us. He's behind a falling down little cedar tree. His antlers are blending in, stays, Mr. Doc, with the
background, with the wood. Yeah.
With the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking, I'm like, where he come from? He's bedded down, did not move, watched us the entire time. Bow season was in. I was like, how can I get this?
Right.
Very savvy, smart deer. He wasn't moving for nothing. What are you gonna move up? The creek is separating us. We less than 100 yards away from it. Wind in his favor.
Mm-hmm.
We going in like, how can I get it? So I told my cousin, I said, hey, stay right here. And I want you to slowly keep moving south. Stacy, I crawled. I crawled probably about right at 100 yards. Ain't that long. I got my bow. I circled all the way around. Because I said, I'm going to get a shot on this deer.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time that we have aim cameras that would sell you.
Right.
Go in and you
put the seeds and card in, card out, right?
Right. So I went all around. Remind you, the wind is blowing from the north to the south. I went all the way around. I ran into the north, out across, and come back down in this big green. I said, I'm going to kill this deer. Problem was, going from the north. When I got up, he had already submitted before I got there. Because I thought that by me going around, you would have no idea.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
When I got there, he scared me more than because he was looking at me when I was. I'm trying to draw back. But when I'm looking at cedars, he had already stood up. Staring at me. Gone. The point of this is trying to understand deer. You're gonna have mistakes. I learned more from my mistakes than I learned from the kill and the harvest that I've done. I understand it. And so I appreciate it. So being a new hunter, understanding the woods is very challenging. Going in the woods and understanding the wind and everything, those things are going to help you be a better hunter.
Absolutely. Awesome. Now, great job, Lou. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears here a minute and let's go back to this right here with new hunters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance that you may not have access to, say, private land, or you may not know someone that has some property that will allow you to go and hunt on, or you just don't have anywhere to go. But there is somewhere for you to go. We touched on this on the last episode, and that is public land is a great classroom, right? Public land, believe it or not, can make you a better hunter. I mean, at least in my opinion. Now, my opinion can be challenged, but I do believe that public land makes you a better hunter. I say that because we said that it makes you adapt. It makes you, and Lou said, pay attention to the smallest minute movement and sounds. It teaches you how to scout. It teaches you how to move smarter. In his last description, he had to crawl 100 yards. So you have to be strategic in your movement, and you have to understand pressure. Because when a deer senses pressure, they either sight, but their greatest weapon of all is that thing on that nose they have. And if they wind you, I mean, the hunt is over. And if you want to have more success, you're going to have to be a master of wind direction. And when we mean wind direction, understand how it blows in terms of your positioning to the area you are hunting or to the corridor you are overlooking. So if it's in front of you, give you a context. If what you're hunting is directly in front of you, you want that wind to be hitting you directly in the face, because you want your scent to go away from the area that you're looking for. So that in itself is what I believe is the greatest teacher. Do what you think about that?
Listen, I wouldn't say nothing else. God, you hit it dead on.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out there with the best perfume and on that you had, right?
Right.
You can go out there as soon as you get off work. If the wind is in your face, Harvard, a book of you next time. But if that wind swirls the pain, it's over.
Right.
Going into the area that you just said, I got a 300 acres that I have me and a hunt buddy in Alice.
Mm-hmm.
They just clear cut it, portion on the back of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Property goes in a downward slope.
Right.
If you understand wind, if you understand thermals, you gotta understand thermals as a new hunter, you're gonna have success. Because in the morning times, thermals rise, meaning the temperature changes and goes up. Evening time, thermals drop.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, if you got elevation descending down to a heating area and you're trying to hunt in the morning, the thermals rise now. So if you get there early, the thermals are kind of lingering, that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, especially if it's cold outside. But as the temperature rises, the thermals rise. So if you're up top, the deer are starting to come up top. They're coming from the feeding sources, coming back through the hard oaks or the pines. Pines, they're eating the mushrooms. Coming through the hard oaks, they're eating the pin oaks, the white oaks. The last thing they want to eat is the red oaks. They eat they eat mountain oaks. These are things they are doing. Deer are browsers, so they're always constantly chewing, moving, chewing, coming back to the bedding area. They do it all over.
Right.
So morning times, typically try to split the difference depending on where I am. Well, this is a clear cut.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine an L-shaped clear cut. You got property sitting right there in that L. There is a hitting trail.
Right.
Midway as you descend down. The deer have a very trail going through the property. And then there's a trail going from the feeding source up to the bedding area. Where do you think I will hunt? You got a crossing and you got a crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hunt right there at the crossing.
At the crossroads.
Why? It's midway,
Uh-huh.
so the thermals are rising, intersect them then. Then you got the deer coming from the L shape coming across. I get them there. The thermals are rising. Typically in the morning time, that wind is coming back. When it starts to swirling, 10, 11 o'clock, either you just going to stay there all day, because when it gets swirling, chances are they get close to you, swirl, they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like. That's what I like. That's my preference, is to find an area, try to hunt it, get in, get out. How can I hunt that area versus those thermals? Hunting a saddle. Saddle is 2 lumps.
Yep.
Kind of like a horse.
Uh-huh. Yep.
2 a saddle. High, and you sit right here in this area.
In that, yep.
Deer love to come there.
So true.
Never really hunted until I hunted with a friend named Chester. Told me about a saddle. And I saw it, but I used to always want to hunt on the top. I used to want on the top area. But when I started hunting in a saddle, I noticed the deer would always come into the saddle first.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then make their way
Right
up to the top, where the honeysuckles are coming. They're trying to get the wind in their nose, coming through the saddle, and then going up to them. So that's my thought.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's great. You talk about the saddle real quick. My new bow spot that I set up last year, and I got a couple clips I've shown. I tried to show the people my spot, and it is the very description you just said. You have a hill here, a ridge here, and a ridge there. But where I was actually in between that saddle, there was a descending. It was a descending route to where I wanted to catch the deer, and I had a tree perfectly set right. My climb on the tree perfectly sat in the saddle on top of a ridge in the middle of the saddle. And then when it was so much deer activity, I mean, it's crazy. I done walked in several times and, deer was right there because I was hidden by the ridge that I was walking beside. And when I made that corner, I'm like, I was caught. And it was at one of them times when I didn't have that camera on. I said, let me get this camera out here the next time so I can see what time and understand the movement they coming in. But to get back to the point, it is adaptability, being able to change. Because that is the thing, public land is going to teach you better than anything, adaptability.
I want to say this too, Trace. There's over 750,000 acres
of public land. Yes.
Land.
Yes. A bunch.
Again, that's over 750,000 acres of public land in the state of Alabama.
And I think I read something.
We live.
I don't
where we hunt.
Now, what we've been wanting to get to is bow hunting versus rifle hunting. Now, this is this is a conversation that is as big, if not as bigger than the public versus private land, is the bow hunter versus the rifle hunter debate. And you can throw a rock in any direction and hit someone that's going to have a position as to rifle is better, bow hunting is better, or vice versa. So let's get into it. Some people ask, how should they start as a new hunter? We talking about a new hunter. How should they start? Should they start with a rifle? Should they start with a bow? And I'm gonna put this out here. I started as a rifle hunter. I started as a rifle hunter. I'll be the first to tell you. But it was the challenge of a bow that forced me to pick it up, because to me, I would say bow hunting gives you another dimension. It gives you another layer of a challenge. You have to get closer. You have to be more stealthier. You have to really use all of your skill. But those skills are different. But it's a debate. I'm gonna Lou, take it over. What you got?
Hey, Brother Doc. You talk about pulling back this
Yes, sir. Yes,
Or
sir.
shooting like this.
Shooting like that. Yes, sir.
Listen, I'm finna stir this pot up real.
Stir it up. Stir it up. Stir
Real
it
good. I know we're gonna get some shots fired. I got some people that just got in and they no names. They buy the latest and greatest equipment and they come out with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guns and they got the tripod and they got the range finders on their gun and they coming with the seeker gear. I mean, beautiful. They so pretty that you need to put them on the front of a cover.
Cover magazine.
Put them on the front of a cover because they so beautiful. The gun has especially been oiled down. It's not one fingerprint on the gun or on the scope, only on the trigger. Everything perfect.
You'll find that gun hanging on the wall of their house.
They perfect. Doc with that gun sitting about 300 yards from the green field and everything. Got the rangefinder on the scope.
Wow.
$1,000+ scope. Not even talking about the type of custom-made rifle that they have.
Right.
Tripod holding the gun. All they got to do is find the animal and slowly squeeze the trigger. Is that hunting? Ooh. Then you got the hunters that come out there with the crossbows. I said they are bow hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out there and they first started. Everything's working on them just fine.
Yeah.
Bows see very well, Doc. And they come out that crossbow with the rangefinder on it and everything. It's already
with a $1,000 rangefinder on that crossbow.
$5,000 rangefinder on the crossbow. Tripod on the crossbow is sitting in the ground blind. Got all the cover over their smell and everything. Cover real well. They got a little pocket like this. They got the big old pile of corn right there, and that dip up right there to that pile of corn. They already know the range. Gonna range anyway. Again.
Hey man, listen.
They're the best hunter in life. Then you got the people that bow hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You the regular compound or traditional bow hunters.
Mm-hmm. So
they pull the bow back. They hunt at 70-degree weather. Wind may not be in their favor, but they catching the deer at the early time where the deer come in, and they spray down very well. Now they got to draw back. Now they got to watch the deer eyes.
They got to focus. They got to focus. They got to focus. They got to be steady. So let me ask you this: are those the reasons why bow hunting is such a challenge? Does that make bow hunting more difficult?
Bow hunting is more difficult than rifle hunting, hands down.
Okay, hands down.
And on business when it comes to that, because I was a rifle hunter and I was a bow hunter. I came up with two. I had a red bow, to shoot little lizards with it.
Right.
A traditional type of bow my dad had bought. Then I had a BB gun. I was shooting birds with the BB gun. And I moved to a 22 let me shoot. Then he finally got me a shot, 20 gauge. My first rifle that I bought when I was in college, saved my money. I put it anyway. It was a 7. I bought it at Walmart.
Wow. Yep.
Roughly about $500. Man, I was happy. Put a Simmons scope on it, real thin little lines. At nighttime, you can't see the light.
Right.
The crosshairs. You had to. Hopefully, you open to find a Simmons. You know woods. They can't shoot in the wood. You got to shoot greens.
That's it.
You got to go in lifetime.
That's it. See.
So when it comes to bow hunting, the challenge of movement, concealment, quiet gear, breathing, focusing on your target.
Yeah.
Aiming to the opposite side, seeing where the
exit and the air are going to be, right?
Making sure. Stacey, you got a beard like me. We got to make sure that we hit the same point
every single time. Same anchor point.
I had a plug in my beard because my string was snatching my beard as I shoot. When I cut it down, it changed the angle of the bow and everything. Wow. So it's so much involved when it comes to bowing. Now, I will say this. I'm not taking away from those who want to get out and hunt.
Absolutely. Let's back up and say this for our new hunters.
Mhm.
If you're
Yes, sir.
interested in getting into hunting, don't let what we just talked about intimidate you at all. 'Cause that's the last thing we want to do, because we're trying to get you over that intimidation factor.
That's right.
And that is, if that is your introduction, use the rifle. Take the rifle with you. Okay.
That's right.
Be proficient in that. But here's the other thing that I'm gonna add to everything Lou just said.
Mhm.
One thing I learned in bow hunting and being proficient, I'm not one of these pros or tack specialists or whatever that go to these ATA or tournaments or whatever.
That's right.
But practice for me has been the key. Repeated repetition of the same mechanics from the moment you pull that first bowstring back to the last has to be the same. You have to be consistent. It has to be the same.
That's right.
And with that, you have to make sure you understand arrow flight, where the arrow placement is at 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. All those are different. The wind play a factor more so in bow hunting than it does a rifle. A twig, when I say a twig, a leaf can throw your shot off 5, 10, 12 inches, as opposed to Lou, if I'm saying anything wrong, please stop me. Please stop me.
You not, because I was practicing and I have great hunting buddies. I have a hunting buddy named Fred Heflin, a hunting buddy named TL Fart. They took me over to their house and said, "Hey, I thought I knew bow hunting, right?
Right.
They showed me a different dynamic of shoot through this leaf. Like, dude, I ain't gonna shoot through no leaf." Said, "Shoot through the leaf." So we got 2 trees set up, right? I shoot through the leaf, target. I like, wait, you mean I gotta shoot? You need to know your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And what your equipment would do.
Yes.
We don't shoot through and will not shoot through the bullets. Hunting. It's arrow fletchings, 4 fletchings or 3 fletchings.
3, yes.
Your broadhead. Is it a mechanic or is it a fix? It's
all those are different. The flight of those are different.
Way different.
So
way different.
We can get man so far.
And that's why I like to say hunting, when it comes to bow hunting, is way more challenging than rifle hunting. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm pretty good. When it came to rifle hunting, before my guns got stolen, you have one gun. The one that I told you I bought it all.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If I aim at a space, it was dead.
It was dead.
There was so much behind that equipment. The gun, the scope, the bullet, the grain of bullet, and shooting that bullet consistent. My gun clean, not bumping the scope.
Yep.
I know within 400 yards of what that bullet was going
to do. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
When we come to bow hunt, 20, like you said, piggyback off you, 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. Well, the farthest kill that I have today is 75 yards. I have practiced at 80 and 90 yards.
Of course.
75 yards. I practice at 73 yards. I practice at 62 yards. I practice at all yards because your bow and that arrow can do different things
at different
yards. Just like you said, the wind plays a factor. I knew what my bow would do. But it's so many things that played a factor. I'm shooting in the open field, angled slightly down at an animal with nothing in the way besides a little bit of wind. That's bow hunting.
That's bow
Rifle.
That's bow hunting.
For all that it is, yes, that wind plays a major factor in that bullet drifting.
Yes.
But anything at 300 yards, 20 yards in, if you know your equipment, that animal should not move.
It should go down. It should go down. And again, that comes from the practice, understanding your equipment, being dedicated to that particular discipline, whether that's rifle or bow. And Lou, would you agree with this? Would you agree with this? That for our new hunters that are watching, would it be safe to say, if you're going to get into hunting per se, that the rifle will be a great entry point for them to get used to the idea of hunting and everything that's involved with it, and then progress to, say, bow hunting if they want to increase their challenge and increase their experience in the woods? Would you agree with that, or what are your thoughts on that?
I would strongly agree with that.
Okay.
And the reason why is because even though we tell them to go out and experience an outdoor without a weapon, like we said earlier, you want them to harvest, whether it's a small. We're not going to limit them to what they harvest.
Right. We ain't gonna, yeah, absolutely.
We want them to feel that void of, I came out here, I saw something, I accomplished, I squeezed the trigger, and then I was able to get what I shot. I was able to grab my heart. That's the ultimate goal for a new hunter that comes out, that has seen everything on TV, seen someone like us. We smiling behind the deer and like tell them about all the work. Okay, now you got that out the way. You got to harvest. Now here come the real work. Cleaning the deer.
Oh,
okay.
Field dressing.
Don't just field dressing. Don't take it to the process just yet. No. I got one friend. I'm sorry, he looked like he was dressed in a condom. I mean, he had a whole rubber sleeve all over his body to clean a deer. I said, hold on, brother.
Yeah.
Just clean a deer. This ain't Corona. It's like we get a coronavirus. This is just getting a deer. Man would dress like he had a whole condom trying to clean a deer. I'm like, wait a minute. Where am I? Oh, man, he looked like a UFO.
Right.
Look like a beard, though. Look like a beard. But you're cleaning the animal. That's part of understanding what your bullet did to the animal. Where did it go? Where did it enter the bullet? Where did it enter the animal? When it came out, what did the bullet do? Was it small going in? Was it large going out? What artery? What organ did it hit? Did he run off the field or did he drop? That's understanding the whole concept. Now, some people don't have the heart for it. They just want to get it first and drop it off in the process. Me, I go in depth.
You want the whole experience. We'll get to that should be an episode on how to field dress your game. And
that's right.
Yeah, I'm open to that. But you're right, man. Okay. I mean, you from, I hate to say this term, but the rooter to the tutor. But that's essentially what we're talking about from beginning to end. It doesn't stop with just the pulling of the trigger and taking that photo. It goes beyond that. Now that you have the responsibility of taking care of that deer now that you harvested. You have a responsibility as a hunter to not waste the meat that you rightfully earn and to let it go to waste because you improperly field dressed it, or you waited too long, or you did something to not allow you to really reap the benefits of that harvest. Awesome. Okay. Final advice we want to give to you beginners. And that is, if you're just getting into hunting or if you just starting out, here's our advice. First thing, and Lou said this, I hope you were paying attention. Don't compare yourself to who you see on TV. Don't compare yourself to who's on social media. Don't compare yourself who's getting all the likes and clicks and stuff like that. Don't compare yourself to those people. You're your own evaluator. And that's is you decide when and how you want to get into hunting. You decide what it is you want to harvest, if that's a doe or if that's a spike or if that's a buck. It is up to you. You're not measured against nobody but yourself. So The other thing is focus on learning, but take that safety course. Learn how to maneuver around your weapon of choice, whether that's a bow or whether that's a rifle. Uh, and be consistent in its operations, its mechanics, and its understanding how it works out in the woods against any and all game. Being ethical. Don't be that person to go hunt just to be killing something. That's not what we out there to do.
No.
First of all, enjoy yourself, and at the same time, be responsible and just enjoy the outdoors. I mean, Lou,
I want to say this, Dave.
okay.
If you hunt long enough, you will miss. If you hunt long enough,
Mm-hmm.
you will injure your harvest.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you as a hunter to give it all you have to track and locate your game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he left the field, you didn't see any blood. You didn't see a broken limb, like didn't see a dragging of a foot. You owe it to complete your hunt and track that video. That could be a segment in
Mm-hmm.
itself. To whether you don't or do find out, new hunter get with a season or YouTube and of how to track them. Because if you hunt long enough, you will miss or you'll injure after. But if you don't know if you missed or not, you still get out of that stand, understand your bearings, go to the area where you made that shot, look around to see the hair, tracks, the direction he or she or whoever ran off that field. Okay? You hunt. Just don't give up like, oh, it's just another day. No, sir. No, sir, no, ma'am. Daylight or night.
Mm-hmm.
Get your bearings, get your tools like a GPS, locate your spot where you were, find out where the animal was, start a small track. If you can't find it, back out. Back the next day, have someone with you that can help you locate that game. Example, and I'm going to leave on this. You saw the animal, no blood, dark, no blood. This is with the rifle.
Yeah. That shot, that bullet was so fast that the wound closed on me.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Didn't see the splatter. Didn't see no blood.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was like 3 or 4 pieces of hair. Brown and blue. I'm shooting for the elevated position. Know my weapon. What happened? No way. Ain't no way you missed with the word. Something wrong.
Yeah.
Something wrong.
Absolutely.
So I go down, look, see some hair, did my grids, couldn't find the animal. I'm going back. I came out. Got 2 of my hunting brothers to 100 parts of the property. They come back. One started at the beginning. I'm going where I left. I'm red too. Another was in between. So they were kind of doing group. I started grid switching. I could have given up. The deer had over the creek. You touched the creek and was sitting on an island dead. Did not shoot. His tracks did not go in the creek. All I saw was blood against a tree. No blood on these brown leaves. And I said, okay, we went this way. Went to the creek to try to see that blood. He had jumped across the creek, landed on the island. We have bamboo right there. Saw his right there. Don't give up. Give it all you got. As a new hunter or seasoned hunter, it's up to you. As Doc said, from the rooty to the tulip, from the beginning to the end. You started, you finished. And if you didn't harvest it, okay, you come again. But at least you gave it all you got on that hunt.
All right. Awesome. Hey, want to appreciate that, Lou. And we're gonna end this like this, ladies and gentlemen. The outdoor, it rewards time and effort. especially for you new hunters. The time you put in and the effort you put in, you will be rewarded. You learn hunting one experience at a time. You're not going. It's every hunt going to teach you something different. You're not going to be the best your first time out. So don't be discouraged by not being successful your first, second, or even your third time out. Because, you're going to learn something that's going to improve each hunt, each and every time you go out. Success comes from consistency. There are no shortcuts to this thing called hunting. You have to put in the work and you have to be consistent. So if that is the advice that we will give to our new listeners, our new hunters. We want to appreciate all of you for tuning in and listening to another episode of We Hunt 2, We Fish 2, where we hunt and fish and live outside. And remember, if you like what we're saying on this channel, if you like the conversation, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share with one of those new hunters. And remember, guys, get out the house. Go hunt. We hunt too. We fish too. Peace.